Hi, friends. If we haven't met, I'm Rae. I'm a property manager and now officially a licensed broker with Opal Real Estate. Thank you so much for finding my YouTube page. What you can expect on videos from me are going to be about real life and real estate. And today, for my very first video, I wanted to share something very personal, my story, how I got to where I am, and why you might want to listen to anything that I have to say about property management or real estate. And like I said, this is a very personal video. And if you don't know me, I am authentically me. This is how I show up. This is how I'm comfortable. And if we work together, this might be how I show up sometimes. So I wanted to just come as I am and tell you my story. So let's start from the beginning. I grew up born and raised in Everett, Washington. I graduated from Cascade High School. So shout out to all my Bruins. And growing up, my parents owned their home. It was my sister and I and my parents living in Everett, and my dad worked for the city in the building administrative department. He was responsible for reviewing blueprints and making sure buildings and homes were up to code. So I saw him bring home blueprints. I wasn't super familiar with them, but I got to, sometimes go with him to work and, look through the stuff that he was bringing home. And my mom, she worked for a financial advisor and wealth management company. So growing up, saving for the future and planning, saving and planning for the future were just a part of the way that my sister and I were raised. And I'm so grateful that I learned those things. I'm not saying that I was good at it at the beginning, because I wasn't, but over the years, I have come to appreciate those skills that have helped shape me into who I am and, how I view home ownership, wealth, life in general, right? Like the way we were raised helps define us. And I grew up playing sports, specifically softball, and I was blessed enough to go to college on a athletic and academic scholarship playing softball. And I came out of school with no student debt. Thanks to those scholarships, as well as my parents who, again, the planners and savers that they were, planned for my sister and I's education. And I say all this knowing that this is not everybody's experience. I know that. But again, I'm sharing my journey and how I got to where I am. And fast forward a few years, I graduated college. I graduated with a bachelor's in psychology and a minor in religion. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. But what I have always known is that I love people and I love helping people. And that is at the heart of who I am. And when I turned 25 years old, I was nowhere close to being married. I was very, very much single. And again, my parents, the planners and savers that they were, planned for my sister and I's wedding. And I had asked my parents, like, hey, I don't even know if this is ever going to happen. I've saved up money. Can I have, my wedding fund to buy a home? Because honestly, I never wanted to spend a large amount of money on a wedding and on one day. It wasn't what I wanted. And I wanted to invest that money. Right. And so at 26 years old, I bought my very first home. And I truly believe that everything in life happens for a reason. And the people in my life that helped me buy that home, my lender, my real estate agent, I didn't even know their occupations. They were good friends of mine. And it truly made all of the difference in the world having people that I knew and trusted helping me with this purchase, because this was a large amount of money. And so I bought a modest 2-bed, 1-bath home, Rambler in Marysville. And again, I grew up in Everett, and this was a lot further north than I wanted to live. I wanted to buy somewhere in the, Everett, Mill Creek, Bothell area that I grew up in. And I just couldn't afford it, to be honest. And so I had to broaden my search. And I have come to love Marysville. I've been here for 5 years now. And I immediately started pouring sweat equity into my home. And what I mean by that, if you don't know what that means, is work, time and work. And before I moved in, I had the interior painted. After moving in, I got a new furnace. I put a new fence on, a new roof, landscaping the side yard, the backyard, painting the kitchen. I had help from my mom. And again, growing up, my parents owned their home, and I saw them and the pride and the hard work that they put into their home. And my mom got to come and help me do that. And it was so cool. And I'm so grateful for learning what I've learned. And we pull off all the baseboards, all the doors. It was all the fake wood. We painted it and gave it, a whole new fresh face, a fresh look of the house. And over time, I got new appliances because they were the old white appliances, just little updates over time that made a huge difference, right? And I was immediately putting equity into the home without even really knowing it. And mind you, when I bought my home, I never bought it with the intention of turning it into a rental property. I wasn't raised to, invest in real estate. Like, my parents owned their home, but they didn't own rental properties. And that just wasn't something that I was taught. I bought in 2020 when the interest rates were super low. Again, super blessed to buy when I did. And fast forward a little bit, a friend of mine asked me to come work for his company, which is Opal Real Estate. And I said yes, because at the time I really didn't love the job that I was doing. And I'd always been drawn to real estate, being a homeowner and wanting to help people. And it sounds super interesting. So I was like, yeah, I'll come work for you. And I got a mentor, and I didn't even know it, right? Like, a built-in mentor out of this person that was doing what I wanted to do and was successful. And I started managing 20 properties in Everett. And I learned everything from the ground up, from, tenant placement, screening, how to do a tour, maintenance, vendors, landscaping, property management, and just, how to manage a property, which I already knew as a homeowner, but, learn the ins and outs of tenants and fair housing and the tenant laws and all of those things. And, fast forward a little bit further, I met my wife. She lived in Puyallup at the time. She sold her house and moved in with me in Marysville, and we both kept saving. And mind you, I was still saving while I was, single and owned my home. And we ended up saving for our next home, which is the home that we are in now. And instead of selling that house, we kept it and we are renting it out. And I truly believe, again, if I wasn't where I am, I probably would have sold it. I wouldn't have had the tools or the resources to know what to do. And selling it wasn't what we wanted, because we wanted to build wealth. And what we did is called house hacking, which means you're buying a home as your primary residence and you're living in it, and then you're renting it out later. And why this is a good idea is because you only have to put 5% down, which is far less than the 25% that you have to put down if you're buying an investment property. So when we bought our home in September, we started renting out our other house in Marysville, and now we enjoy monthly cash flow and equity growth. But being a landlord is not about just rent. It's about building long-term wealth. And while somebody else is paying down your mortgage, it's appreciation, it's tax benefits, and honestly, it's future freedom. And now we are currently saving for our next 5% property. And our goal is to own 3 homes by 2027. And I say all this and I share all this with you to tell you how I got to where I am. And most importantly, to tell you that if we can do this, so can you. You don't have to be rich. We certainly aren't. You just need to have a plan, some patience, and the right people in your corner. And ultimately, surrounding yourself with people who have done what you want to do. And that's exactly what I've done, and asking the right questions. So if you're curious how you can make your start, whether you're looking to buy your first home, whether you're considered renting out your home now before buying the next one, I'm here to help you. please reach out, drop a comment below. Let's chat and grab some coffee. You don't have to have it all figured out at once. You just have to be willing to take that first step. Please reach out. I'm happy to help. Thank you so much for watching my video, and hit that subscribe button below, and we'll see you guys in the next one.